Welcome back to Insurance Talk Texas, the show that helps North Texas families understand what their insurance actually does and doesn't do. Today, we're tackling something that hits close to home for our listeners across Frisco, McKinney, Plano, Prosper, and Allen. We're talking about backyard pools and the liability exposure almost nobody understands until something terrible happens.
This is such an important episode. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services already reports 10 children have drowned in Texas this year, and we're just getting started. Last year, that number ended at over 100. Texas leads the nation in child drownings. So if you have a pool, this conversation could save you from a life-changing lawsuit.
That's the part people don't want to think about. The team behind today's episode is Schell Insurance, our trusted independent agency right here in North Texas. They've been helping pool-owning families across Collin and Denton County get the right liability coverage for years. If anything you hear today raises a question, call them at 972-423-4546.
Absolutely. Let's start with the legal foundation. Texas Health and Safety Code Chapter 757 sets the baseline rules for pool barriers. Minimum 48-inch fence height, no gaps wider than 4 inches, gates that swing outward, self-closing, and self-latching. The latch has to be at least 54 inches off the ground so a child can't reach it.
And the fencing material matters. No chain link, no horizontal rails on the outside that a kid can climb. If part of your house wall serves as the pool barrier, any door leading to the pool area has to have an alarm. These are not suggestions.
Here's what's important. People hear that and think, well, that's just for apartment complexes. But cities across the DFW Metroplex have written these same standards into their local codes. Plus, your HOA has fencing rules. And your homeowner's carrier has its own underwriting requirements before they'll even cover your pool.
People assume their homeowner's policy automatically covers anything that happens at the pool. That's not how this works. Most standard Texas homeowners policies start you out with around $100,000 in personal liability. That might sound like a lot, until you hear what a serious pool injury or wrongful death lawsuit actually costs in this state.
Right. This is where Schell Insurance has been such a valuable resource. Their team will look at what your policy actually says and tell you straight whether your limits match your real exposure. You can reach them at schellinsurance.com. That's SCHELL insurance.com.
Now, let's talk about the legal concept that catches homeowners off guard, the attractive nuisance doctrine. Texas codified it in 2016. If a child wanders onto your property, even uninvited, even when you weren't home, and they're injured by something hazardous and attractive to children, you can be held legally responsible.
That's wild to people the first time they hear it. A child can trespass into my backyard, drown in my pool, and I'm liable?
Exactly. Under Texas law, courts recognize that young kids don't have the judgment to understand danger. A 3-year-old sees water. They want to play. The burden of preventing that tragedy falls on the property owner. Courts have applied this doctrine again and again to pool cases.
That's why pools are #1 on every personal injury attorney's list of attractive nuisances in Texas. And this is why Schell Insurance pushes pool owners to think beyond their basic homeowner's policy. $100,000 of liability in a wrongful death claim involving a child is nowhere near enough.
So what does adequate coverage look like? Industry guidance is to bump your homeowner's liability to at least $300,000, ideally $500,000. Then layer a personal umbrella policy on top.
An umbrella policy is one of the most underused tools in personal insurance. It sits on top of your homeowners and auto liability and adds another layer, usually starting at $1 million. For families with pools and assets to protect, this is foundational.
Here's something else that catches people. Your pool features matter. A diving board, a slide, a hot tub, these can change your underwriting picture. Some carriers won't insure a pool with a diving board. Others exclude diving-related injuries. If you've added features and never told your carrier, you could have a coverage gap you don't even know about.
You have to disclose the pool and the features. If you don't and a claim happens, the carrier can deny it as misrepresentation. That's one of the first things Schell Insurance checks during a policy review.
Let's hit a few quick action items every Texas pool owner should be doing right now, because Memorial Day is around the corner. Walk your fence, confirm 48 inches minimum, no gaps under 4 inches, self-closing gate. Test the latch. If your house wall borders the pool area, install door alarms.
Look at your liability limits and seriously consider raising them. Get an umbrella policy quote if you don't have one. Disclose every pool feature in writing. And if you're not sure, call an independent agent who can shop your situation across multiple carriers.
That's huge. An independent agency like Schell Insurance isn't tied to one carrier. They can look at your home, your pool, your assets, and find the carrier that handles your risk profile the best.
Right. Pools are an underwriting puzzle, and you want somebody who can solve that puzzle in your favor.
A backyard pool is one of the great joys of Texas summer. We're not here to scare anyone out of owning one. We're here to make sure you protect your family financially the same way you're protecting them physically with that fence and that gate and those swim lessons.
Well said. The easiest first step is a free policy review. Call Schell Insurance at 972-423-4546 or visit schellinsurance.com. That's SCHELL insurance.com.
Thanks for spending this time with us. Share this with a neighbor who has a pool. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay safe, watch the kids around water, and call 972-423-4546 if you need a review. See you soon.